at the height of the Jim Crow era, as the antebellum white order was resurgent across the South and the entire country. These monuments still stand in 31 states, far beyond the 11 that were part of the Confederacy. Ezekiel sculpted a statue of Confederate General Stonewall Jackson for the grounds of the West Virginia State Capitol, a memorial titled Virginia Mourns Her Death on the VMI campus, and the Confederate Memorial at Arlington National Cemetery, which was dedicated in 1914. With his connections to the Jefferson family and the South, he was the obvious choice for the Thomas Jefferson statue on the campus of the University of Virginia. Despite Ezekiel's Confederate bona fides, the design of the statue at the rotunda focuses entirely on Jefferson's Universalist writings. Jefferson penned some of the most famous lines of the Declaration of Independence, including the idea that all men are created equal and have an inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In the statue, Jefferson stares thoughtfully into the distance, standing atop the Liberty Bell and holding a copy of the Declaration of Independence. At the base are 4 figures representing Jeffersonian ideals of justice, liberty, equality, and religious freedom. The religious freedom side of the statue even includes a tablet listing God Jehovah, Brahma, Atma, Ra, and Allah. This inclusive version of Jefferson's legacy represents the dream of what the United States has to offer, where freedom and equality are protected for everyone regardless of their race, religion, or place of birth. Thomas Jefferson, however, is also a foundational figure at the core of another version of the United States, one that is based less on the idealistic words that Jefferson wrote and more on how he actually lived. Even as he wrote that all men were created equal, Thomas Jefferson continued to hold hundreds of slaves in bondage at Monticello, his picturesque hilltop estate overlooking Charlottesville. Slaves built the elegant grounds of the University of Virginia, including the famed rotunda where the Jefferson statue now stands. In this other version of history, the United States has always been a white country. It was founded by white men, for the benefit of white men, and a series of laws have been enacted over the centuries to maintain white supremacy. Slavery remained legal for almost a century after Jefferson wrote that all men are created equal. Jefferson's actions show that it is a misunderstanding of his words to think that he meant anything other than only all white men are created equal. As Roger Taney, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, wrote in the Dred Scott decision in 1857 that denied citizenship to free African Americans, the unhappy black race were separated from the white by indelible marks, and it is impossible to believe that these rights and privileges were intended to be extended to them. The United States' first naturalization law in 1790 restricted citizenship to a free white person. The Jim Crow era maintained white supremacy for almost a century after slavery was officially banned, in an era in which the veneration of the Confederacy grew and the country enacted strict, racially based laws on who could immigrate. From this perspective, the United States was a white country until the 1960s, when the Civil Rights Movement and the 1965 Hart-Celler Immigration Act, which allowed for substantial increases in non-European immigration to the United States, fundamentally changed the character of the country. The Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville in August 2017 was organized to protest the removal of a statue to Robert E. Lee, the commander of the Confederate Army. The Charlottesville City Council voted in February 2017 to remove the Lee statue from a city park and to change the name from Lee Park to Emancipation Park. However, the rally was also meant to symbolize the emergence of a unified movement, which Richard Spencer had termed the alt-right, to protect the white legacy of the United States from racial justice and immigration. The night before the main protest at the Lee statue, the rally organizers, Spencer, and a Charlottesville native named Jason Kessler, scheduled the Torchlight March through the University of Virginia, culminating with a speech by Spencer at the Jefferson statue on campus, staking a claim to both Lee's and Jefferson's legacies. As the white nationalists gathered beforehand in a parking lot, Kessler's round face was lit by the glow of a tiki torch as he explained the symbolism and the purpose of the march. The torches are to commemorate the fallen dead of our European brothers and sisters, like Robert E. Lee, like Thomas Jefferson, he continued. Right now, we are in a civil rights